Okay, we're going to attempt to, to break it down a little bit more, and hopefully it'll help. Sometimes knowing the background really does help, understanding why you're doing what you're doing, and sometimes in math, sometimes knowing the background doesn't always help. So maybe this will help you. Okay, so the first thing that you got to understand, or that's a good thing to understand, is the form of a perfect square trinomial. Okay, so just imagine that you have x plus a and you're squaring it. A is just a number. Okay, so we're going to use FOIL here to figure out what this product would be. So we have x squared plus ax plus a squared. These two middle terms can combine to give me 2ax plus a squared. Okay, so in other words, what ends up happening is that the a here is being multiplied by 2. Okay, and that's important whenever we're completing the square. So in completing the square, the first step is to take your middle term and to divide it by 2. Now, why are we dividing it by 2? Because we're trying to figure out what a is. And we know that the middle term is 2a. So if we divide our middle term by 2, then we'll figure out what a is. Does that make sense? Okay, hopefully that makes sense. So this is 3, and then so that becomes our a. Okay, that becomes our a in the perfect square trinomial. So now we have, now we want to take whatever this number is here and we're going to square it. Okay, and why are we squaring it? Because we're getting this number here. We're squaring it so that we get that a squared. So this gives me, x squared plus 6x, and I'm going to add it. Notice that here I'm always adding. So I'm going to add whatever 3 squared is. 3 squared is 9. Now, what I do is I like to take this number here and I like to move it over to the other side. To me, it just makes it a lot easier to work with. So I'm going to add it to both sides. So here I would have 7. And now, because I added 9 to this side, I have to do it to the other side. Remember, you can't add something to one side without also adding it to the other side. Whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other side. So now this is going to factor into that perfect square trinomial. Okay, and we said that a was 3. So that a is 3. Okay, and this is squared, and that's equal to 16. And at this point, that's whenever you would take and you would, we can just keep on going here. Okay, so at this point, you would take the square root of both sides. Okay, and whenever you take the square root of 16, it's always going to be one positive and one negative, because you can always square. Okay, if you square a negative, that's a positive 16, and if you square a positive 4, that's going to be, again, 16. So the square root of 16 can be either a negative 4 or it can be positive 4. So we have two possibilities here. We have a positive 4 and a negative 4. We're going to subtract 3 from both sides here. And that is x equals 1. And x equals to negative 7. Okay, so hopefully this made a little more sense. Honestly, just understanding the perfect square trinomial, what those numbers mean, it really can help with understanding what we're doing and completing the square. So hopefully this helps.